Let's start stream sniping.
Yeah, let's stream snipe us. Has anyone done that yet? Or can we snipe ourselves and watch a show? It's snipe time. Snipe, snipe. Boom, boom. It's
I did
POS.
a
It's
whole.
Pat. It's Bobby. It's sniping. I got to do the intro part. Now we can do it. Bobby, go.
It's not chopping with Chapin, which is a podcast I did, which was all at stream sniping yourself.
Kinda. Because you're not chaping.
Right, but initially we were. It's too many layers. Welcome to the POS show with your host Pat Oates and your co-host Bobby Tamburo, and not Mike O'Donnell because he's a bitch and has fun things to do.
With no reason to do that. He didn't
No,
even
I know.
really
I just
ever
wanted to
say
irritate
yes.
him. I love Mike. That's how I say I love you.
Yep, I know bad boy of radio, but we don't always come out taking shots at folks. We got to like somebody.
Oh, I love Mike. And maybe this is an important message for the world to know. If I call you a bitch, it means I love you.
That's not true. I know some people you call the bitch that you do not
Nope.
love.
Nope. Anybody I've ever said, you're a bitch, I love.
Nope.
Pet,
No.
Pet, I need you to cover for me here. Pet, a lot of play.
It was not love. You talked to me and I was like, is that out of love? You're like, no, that's out of mean. That's out of hatred. That's out of malice.
No, that's how I say. You know how Jim Croce was like, I'll have to say I love you in a song.
He did. But you don't say, I have to say I love you with some bitch.
No, I have to say I love you by calling you a bitch.
That's a lot of words for a song.
But that's why I'm not a singer.
I guess that's why they call them the Jews. And I guess that's why they call them
You see what
the
I'm-
Jews.
Oh,
Star on their head, and yarmulkes too. Looking
They-
for shelter, digging up tunnels, yelling,
Controlling the
Avagila.
controlling the news.
I guess that's why they control the news. Timestamp that. Yeah, right. But you're killing it. So how are you, sir, on this fine Wednesday, 5 o'clock, when everyone else is putting a show on? We try to test the waters. Waters don't like us, but let's see what happens. How are you?
I'm good, buddy. How about you? What'd you do today?
I made a lot of fucking phone calls to different doctors and things I have to do. All these dumb things I'm running around doing. But before we get into that, I'll bring up back what I have to do tonight, which is the dumbest thing ever. I watched the entire first season of Avatar: The Last Airbender on Netflix today. The entire thing. And it was fucking great.
I've heard great things. This is you're watching the anime, not like the live series, right?
No, the live series. That's what came out.
Oh,
Yeah, the animated thing was out like a year. I watched that with my kids. So and this 2010 Shyamalan did his dumb movie that sucked, but this is finally somebody going, I'm gonna do the cartoon, and I'm gonna do it live, and they did it. And I've read some people saying that they didn't do this right, that right, and and my daughter made a great point to me. I was talking to her about it. I was like, what are the people talking about? This is dead on. This is exactly what the cartoon was like. Almost to a T. There's a tiny bit of touches here and there, but for the most, the casting was great. Every scene, all the fucking cool palaces and places look exactly the same. The bending of shit, everything looks dope. I'm like, what's the problem? She goes, well, Dad, you're probably the only person who was adult watching it when it was on in cartoon and now. So everyone else remembers as a kid. So you're the only adult to have both points of view. I'm like, oh. I guess that can say I'm a good dad or a creep. But either way, yeah, me. I have adult views on cartoons.
I always said that was the problem with Pokemon, is that no one got to experience as a Pokemon it as an adult before they experienced it as an adult, the live version
The live version was too corny.
of Pokemon.
Yeah.
I think we're talking about two different. Which version are you talking about?
The live version of Pokemon.
Who was the main star?
Wasn't that like Ryan Reynolds or somebody?
Oh, you're thinking of Detective Pikachu. I was talking about. Yeah, that was corny. I was
Yeah,
talking
it was
about when
fucking
Mike
stupid.
Vick. I was talking about when Mike Vick decided to play Pokemon in real life.
That was in a movie. That was just the news. And that was in Pokemon. That was dogfights.
Okay, but it was ironic that at the height of this video game, where your whole thing was to go around, capture creatures, and make them fight, we locked up the best quarterback of all time, arguably.
Okay, no one's
For
arguing
doing
that. He's not even
doing the
close
same
to being
thing.
the best quarter. No. I'll believe I'll believe that it was Pokemon before I believe Michael Vick is a good quarterback. Michael Vick was all right at best. When there was like, Michael Vick came out in a time when they're like, whoa, did you know black people can throw? Like, that's what that was. So like, whoa, he's great. Everyone who said Michael Vick was great wanted to say, for a black guy, like every time. And they didn't. They just said, like, he's like left-handed Randall Cunningham. Why don't you call him Boomer Esiason? Oh, no, never that.
Dude, nobody talks about how Vic changed the culture of football like Iverson did with the NBA.
Because he didn't change it.
I went to a white school where we had 3 black kids because we had a bunch, two full and 2 halves. Like, everybody acted like they were Mike Vick. They'd buy Mike Vick sneakers. They'd get the visor like Vic if he had it. Like, he changed the game. Now, I guess other people did it before him, but
Yeah,
he had
I'm saying
a huge
like
impact.
Michael Vick literally was. I mean, he was being himself, but he was being Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders changed the fucking. He's AI. When Deion came in, he put the swagger in, like it was in that especially out of the Cowboys. Him and Irvin got together and started being fucking hood. Like that was the shit. But like, I mean, if you really want to go to it, not in the NFL, but in college, the University of Miami changed the culture. That was like you literally had criminals all together getting ready to go. Ray Lewis, all those guys spawned from that. But Deion Sanders doing the high step and all, calling himself prime time, speaking in the third person so much that when a writer for the WWE, Brian Gewirtz, heard that, he was like, oh, this would be perfect for a new character, The Rock, to talk this way. The Rock is just being Deion Sanders. When he's saying, like, prime time this, prime time, he's going, The Rock finally says that. That's what he started off the character as. So Deion
you know
was
he
definitely that night.
Did you know he was originally supposed to be the rhyme time? And he was going to come out and rap everything? And The Rock just sucked at rapping, so they decided to just go with The Rock.
I know that you're making a joke, but you're so close to actually having a real tag team because there was a tag team called Crime Time, and they were 2 black guys who just stole things and talked like that too. Like that was a legit tag team. That wasn't like a long time ago. That was literally like 2006, 2007. Their whole shtick. They didn't even wrestle for a while. They would just be in the back and steal other people's shit, and they would go money, 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 and they were just black guys who stole. Like that was it.
WWE would have loved that black card bit I tried last week.
No, they would. If Vince was still around, he would have hired you by hearing that. Like,
on the spot.
Who's this
AI.
Bobby?
Dude, AI also loved it. It was like, this is a great clip. And I was like, it definitely, it makes me look bad. People will talk.
First of all, hello, Terry Nee. How are you this fine evening? And second of all, Terry Nee, you might be right. Pokemon Go, the game that swept the nation, where people were walking around outside all the time looking for shit. They were probably coughing on each other so much they caused a pandemic. And a lot of people were walking through cemeteries, and you might have got some of the dead heebie-jeebies on you and walked around. People don't know that game was you would search for Pokemon on your phone. It would locate it. It would go to areas that would tell you where they were. My kids had that on their phone, and where I live in Sonia, Connecticut, there are, I think, for a small town, more graveyards per capita than any other place I've ever been. It's more graveyards than homes. Like, it's insane. But all these cemeteries, so many rare Pokemon. I mean, I remember people were walking off cliffs and shit because they were staring at the phone because the thing was using the GPS and making you walk to a spot, and people would walk off a fucking cliff and die from trying to catch a fucking salamander with feet in a hat.
Now, is that a bad thing, or is that serving the overall purpose of Pokemon, which is to increase evolutions? Right? You're getting rid of the people who walk off cliffs.
Oh yeah,
Getting rid of.
I don't think survival of the fittest went away with technology. I think it just adapted in a new way. I really do believe that there are a lot of things that were. I mean, I think when something is invented, I think that's the world playing with that notion. Like cars were invented so we could have car accidents and kill people off that are idiots. Planes were invented so morons who do stupid things can fly in. Every time there's a new invention, it's like, oh, there's a way to kill off some people we don't need.
Keep going.
Trains?
Nope.
Oh.
What are we talking about here?
Train.
What are we doing here? We're talking about COVID and things that were invented to kill off part of the population.
Yeah, that was where he started. That's where I went. I mean,
oh, I got
that's
you.
why I did it because Terry D said COVID first.
I see what we're doing. Okay, my bad. I'm sorry, I was a little caught up. Did you appreciate the new character they put into Avatar?
The new character they put into Avatar: The Last Airbender, the thing I just watched that you don't know about? Yes, please tell me.
I mean, so they have the four elements: earth, wind, water, fire.
Yes, those are the elements that are in there with all the benders.
Well, they have a fifth element that people can
Okay,
bend now.
so is it the one that multipass?
What is multipass?
That's from the movie The Fifth Element with Bruce Willis and that hot chick.
Unless no, but if you know me well enough, you know where this is going. My favorite character was the gender bender.
That's not an element.
Yeah, gender's an element.
Gender
Now.
is
It's
not
the
an
fifth
element.
element in the woke society. It is, and he does things where they're like, "Oh no, the criminal ran into a female bathroom," and he goes, "Don't worry about this, boys. I'm a woman." And he looks like me and just runs in there and beats up the criminal.
Well, if you're gonna do it right, Bobby, you have to. He doesn't run in there. He does a move like this with his hands, and then just changes his penis into a vagina. Like that's all that is.
Well, no, his move
Gender
is,
bender.
"It's ma'am now." A lot of snapping and
I like it. I like how it went from a character to an element to just assault.
actually the his move is he takes his name tag where it says he him and scratches it out and writes they them. That's the hand movement he does.
I can't wait till our title and our fun clickbait thing tomorrow is gender bender an element.
The boys are fired up about a new podcast or a new movie. I mean,
can the climate change gender? There you go. There's our thing.
yo, dude, you might have just solved global warming if you
The
told
Jews
all the
are controlling the
conservatives.
genders.
If you told, yeah, if you're like, hey, global warming is causing an increase in trans, they'd be like, we got to stop it now. Honey, we're going to
Global
buy a Prius.
warming is changing genders. Okay, that's one. For no reason for this episode. And we only got Terry and E really watching, a couple other people not really in the comments. Anyone else watching right now? What is a great clickbait sentence we could put on a thumbnail where people are going to see it and go, ugh, it would get people to watch, even if they don't care about our show at all. And what we'll do is when we get a comment, then Bobby, you and I have to quickly come up with a minute or so about it. So that way your fun AI thing you've been doing that makes up a quick story that has nothing to do with the show we're talking about can grab that thing and put it out there. Let's just force people to click on shit for no fucking reason. So far we have global warming is changing genders. Bobby, ready, go.
I mean, I'm telling you, that's how we solve global warming. If you got in Trump's ear and you were like, psst, the increase in temperature caused by greenhouse gases is what's leading to the increase in trans. Dude, the conservatives would all stop fossil fuel use tomorrow.
All you have to say is they're not polar bears. They're bipolar bears. They're binary polar bears. The white bears want to be black. The black bears want to be white. The North Poles want to be on the South Pole. It's changing everything. Not the equator, the e-gator.
I see no changes. Wake up every morning and I ask myself, am I a guy or should I cut off my dick?
I was a dormant volcano and now I'm erupting. There you go. It's climate change. Yeah, I don't think people care about climate change enough or genders. I think genders is old now. I don't think people care. I think that was a couple years ago, but I think now when someone goes, "You want to know my fucking what is it? My pronouns?" They're like, "Nah, I can guess."
Nope.
You think they're still
That's
into
my
it?
response. No, that's my response. When people go, do you want to go? And I go, nope. And as a matter of fact, the fact that you asked that makes me go, I don't want to really know you as a human. All right, you take this one first.
Fossil fuel use causes illegal migration. Now, I like that. It does, though.
You got a minute. Take it. How? I don't know. I don't believe it.
Listen, we would not need Mexicans wouldn't come here for what? For jobs, right? They go everywhere for jobs. That's where they go. They never go for freedom like we think. They only go because they're trying to take our jobs. And what's the biggest job we have? Fracking. And all they want to do, we love fracking. That's our thing. Our fucking down south, frack away. They always say frack away keeps the doctor away. That's what they tell you. And now people are dying. Why are they dying? It's not diabetes. It's not because of guns and things in America. It's because they're not doing their fracking love because Mexicans have stolen it. And that's what happened here. Illegal immigration is ruining us because we're trying to get the fossil fuels. And if we don't let people named Cletus dig for oil, they're all American and white people will die.
Okay. I love that. Do you want my take?
I don't think it made any sense. I don't even know what fracking really is.
Can we go back? I'll give that one, and then we can hit this one next.
Oh yeah. Let's go back.
So a lot
I
of
didn't know if
people
we were just
say
gonna go one and go new one. Yeah,
no, please. So a lot of people say illegal immigration is Mexicans mainly. I think you even spoke to that. But what a lot of people don't realize is the Chinese. Okay, so the Chinese.
By the way, I can't wait for that timestamp of a lot of people say Mexicans are illegal immigration. Pat, you even spoken of that. Like, God damn it.
Yeah, but the Chinese, what they do is they take all these psyops, and they have a bunch of Chinese who look Mexican, and then they're sending them through the border too. And people think it's about, controlling the media or spying, but really what it is they want to stop our pipeline. Okay? The Chinese are so mad about the stereotype they have a tiny penis that anything that even represents a penis, like a giant pipeline, right? Remember when we built that?
Yes,
that's what they're trying to do. So because of our reliance in this giant pipeline and the Chinese feeling so emasculated by it, it's causing illegal immigration. Thank you. Next.
Oh, you brought religion into it with the blessing afterwards?
I mean, I talked about gay. I had to,
Though, I don't know, before we get to the next one, I think it's also clear that in religion, they have been signaling us forever that it's nothing but it's homophobic people who want to be homosexual. It was called Ass Wednesday forever. Sometimes Sodom and Gomorrah. But then, because people had issue with it, because they always wanted to get some ass then, they changed it to Ash because they started to develop the gay lisp, and that made them say that. And then because they used to actually take the poop from the butt and rub it on the head to say, you're next for the butt fucking. And then they're like, wait, people don't like that. They're like, oh, we'll just say that's ashes.
And then the people who liked doing it and just kept doing the butt stuff became
but you would just mark the side of who you want to fuck next. The priest goes, you, you.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But I'm saying, like, when one group moved to ashes, I feel like there was one group that kept doing poo, and that's how we got Muslims.
Oh.
And then that's why the women have to dress up so ugly, because they're like, if we can't put anything on their face, we can't let them see that they've got poo on their face, so they cover it up, and then they started fucking goats. And that's why, because they needed more poo to put on people.
All right, now we got these social justice warriors coming out telling us it's not true. I can't prove it. It's probably wrong. If you can't prove it, that's not true. Frogs are gay. Mexicans are stealing our jobs. And, of course, true Catholic priests are marking people so they can have sex with them. But somewhere in the Muslim culture, they're using poop. No, I think you're right. No, that's true.
That's why most of the Muslim countries don't have toilet paper.
They do, but no one's working the store because they have all their stores here. So you can't buy toilet paper because all the Muslim workers are here stealing our jobs. Heterosexual sex causes homosexuality. Yeah, we can't even joke with that one.
This is the easiest. Yeah. Basically, it's the woman. And you just go, it'd be a lot better if I didn't have to put up with this. And then a bunch of people do that math and go, all right, whatever, I'll take a dick in the butt.
Well, Bobby, I think that goes both ways, too. I also think women are like, you know what? I can have someone attractive and not a hairy, sweaty thing pumping on top of me. I can have boobs like mine next to me. I think both ways. I think what caused homosexuality is the advancement in LED lights. I think the fact now that we can see well in bedrooms, it used to be just dark no matter what. You're like, I can't really see what I'm fucking. But once you could really see, I think women like the look of women way more. And then men are like, well, I don't like that look that woman's giving me because that looks like disappointment. And another guy's not going to look disappointed at you. He's going to look like, you're trying, tiger. And I think that's how homosexuality came. LED lights.
Dude, I don't think you could be more off base. I think men get tired of women, and then women go, you know what I really want? Another man. How do I get another man? It's really hot when I make out with a woman. Like, their whole goal is to get a penis, whereas men's is to get away from. Right?
You believe all women's goals are just to get a penis?
like to get our penis. Like, I don't think they're actually real lesbians. I think they're just trying to turn on men.
Have you
What?
talked to real lesbians? They're
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
real.
They're like,
Fucking real.
it literally. You know who had the best commentary on lesbians? William Shakespeare.
God, who?
Methinks thou doth protest too much. Oh, you hate men? You really hate men? You hate men so much you got to talk about it all the time? Then why do you do the hottest thing for men, which is fuck another woman?
Man, do I wish Dan Brown was on this show right now. He'd be
Why?
so pumped because he doesn't joke. He goes, William Shakespeare's a real asshole. He goes, he said, me doth protest too much, methinks. He literally does the quote you just did. It's awesome.
Does Dan realize
And he
that
goes,
was Shakespeare being like, there's no such thing as a lesbian?
No, Dan's, and I don't want to do this whole bit, but he does it so much, it'll be fine. He literally says afterwards, he goes, and he explains, he goes, which means, you aren't, you aren't whatever you're that people are saying you are, whatever. He's like, so, and my friends keep calling me gay all the time, so I have to keep kissing them and sucking their dicks. It's like,
Yeah. Dude, Dan gets it. Just with women. That's what they're doing.
all right. Terry Nee just said, after 30 years of marriage, I'd marry a man if I didn't have to do the dirty deed.
What if it was done
Well,
dirt cheap?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, first of all, it's done dirt cheap. Contracts. Like, what if you have contracts? What the fuck? Why is he saying like, I can't hear the word contracts ever without contracts. Saying it like that. But yeah, Terry, I don't know if you know this, but if you, after 30 years of marriage and you meet a new hot stud to be with, he's going to want to do a way dirtier deed. He will have you on your Terry knees. Like, tell
He's
him
going to have
please.
some poo on your forehead by the time you're done.
I hope somewhere in some culture, what you just said is like their live, laugh, love. You will have some poo on your head in the future.
Probably India.
It's like you just hang in the living room. It's like, oh, it's beautiful. Terry's got some also awful things. Where is that?
But you know what Terry's wife's thinking? I bet you Terry would leave me if he didn't have to do the deed. What can I do that would be hotter for Terry? Then she starts looking at other women that she would hook up with to turn Terry on.
Your perception of women is incredible.
Spot on.
It's amazing. The things you think about with women. Women just need us. They stink. Think the whole voting thing was the worst. You're a fun time. It's like, what do women think when you talk to them about your views on them? Do they enjoy it?
Just got a text from a woman, had to make sure she wasn't watching the pod, but all is good.
Well, she can see it in replay.
Yeah, no, I cheat. It's all good. Women, what do they think of my views on them?
I think there's 2 segments of this show she already doesn't like. My song. And anyway.
Boy. Typically when women hear my thoughts on them, they get it, you know? They're like, they get angry at me, but I feel like it's because they realize how spot on I am. They're like, oh shit, he might be the chosen one who can beat us all.
What do you think?
Good point,
she's saying
ZZ.
here?
You talk
You
at
gotta top
women.
it on.
They're below you. You explain things. You know, usually what happens is, right, a woman comes to you and is like, hey, there's this complex thing, and then she makes a statement, you're like, you just don't let me break it down simply for you.
Okay.
That's why they call it mansplaining. They're like, they need a man to explain it to them.
No, I think they call it that because they don't need a mansplain. They actually put the word in there to say it's only what men do because it's dumb. Explaining is like people just getting explained to by your ex. They're like, I didn't mean to cheat on you.
Right, they would, yeah. But they left the guy who would do that. Mansplaining's like, oh, well, I'm a woman. I couldn't do this. They get it.
We have to start the hashtag explaining. It's just the excuse you give for why they broke up with you. It's like, I didn't cheat on her. Her sister just fell naked on my dick. Let me explain. Yes, you talk at
No.
women, never to them. No, I think you talk with them. I think if Louis C.K. used this advice but used it for jerking off, it would have flipped it. It'd have been great. Always jerk off with, not at.
Okay, so when Louis C.K. jerks off with women, you're cool with it. But when I do it
With
with
them.
9 other dudes to fucking raise money to fight cancer, it's a problem.
That game has been haunting me for like 2 days. That game that you explained on our last POS episode, where people still write points underneath shit on our Instagram and things of that nature. That game where let's not get with the 9 men. For people that didn't see that before, Bobby says there's a game. Now, first of all, I don't like using the term game. Games
Not
are
just
fun.
me.
Games mean that more than one person are playing against each other. Not that it's an assault or attack. That's not a game. That's a prank or a thing like that.
Thank you, ZZ. He gets it. It isn't sexual, you weirdo.
First of all, ZZ doesn't get it, and I feel like ZZ is a woman. Anyway, a lesbian woman.
Well, you know what she's trying to do. Keep going, ZZ. You're into it. You know what you're doing.
This game, Bobby, that you explained to me was, it's starting at its nature was, and I understand, I've heard this before. People that are like, younger and they tease each other. Like if you played like a sport and someone fell asleep on the bus ride home from a game, you would draw on their face or something, or put something in their mouth, like throw stuff at them. And then there was that one guy who was always like, what if we teabag him? And everyone else would be like, hey, no, that's terrible. Like when I was in high school, I forget, and I probably shouldn't bring this up, but like when I was in high school, I wasn't around this at all. But the lacrosse team, someone got in trouble because somebody, I forget the exact story, but they were like hazing a kid, and by hazing him, they held him down, duct tape, and then like put a lacrosse stick in his butt. Like somebody thought that was a fun game, and then like, I could definitely tell you the guy who was getting butt sticked, he wasn't having a good time. He didn't think it was a game. And that's the kind of game Bobby was explaining to us before.
No.
Where a bunch of men, him and his friends, somehow for cancer, would just jerk off feverishly at a guy and then tell each other they won. They won. Bobby just said at the end, we win. I don't know what the prize is, but there is no winner in jerk off challenge.
Boy, I do not like how you explain that. So what the game is you want to jerk off without your roommate knowing. And that's a big difference between sticking a lacrosse stick up Stansel's ass, as ZZ seems to imply, because that is, you want the man to know you did a sexual act to him. Now, I'm not going to justify that act, but I would say if you needed to toughen somebody up, the threat of a lacrosse stick up the butt might be the best way to inspire them to truly fight for their life, right? Like if I came and was like, Pat, 9 dudes are going to hold you down and stick a lacrosse stick up your butt, you're going to fight harder than you've ever fought in your life to keep those guys, right?
Well, first of all, Bobby, if you came up to me,
no, I wouldn't.
And gave me information like that, nobody would come at me because I'd be still beating the shit out of you. If you came, hey Pat, in your future, 9 dudes are gonna put a stick in your butt, I'd be hitting you so hard with that weird threat you just gave me that the other men with the stick would go, let's not do this one. He's gonna be too squirrely for us to get anything in there.
And that would turn you weaker?
I don't need to be strengthened. I don't think this was about strengthening. I don't think you and your friends jerking off at someone during a cancer benefit
was
trying to strengthen anyone.
No, the game was you jerked off while your roommate was sleeping, so 9 guys helped me jerk off while he was sleeping.
Were you trying to strengthen his sleep? Were you trying to make it so he had better REM?
He didn't have to know. That's the opposite of hazing. The goal is to not let the person
that's more
know.
fucked up. He didn't have to know.
Plus, you're forgetting. So let's say you're my
First of all, I'm not
right?
forgetting anything. I'm not retaining. There's a difference because I don't want to know. Because this is the worst game of all times. Jerk off at someone while they sleep and they don't know. And then you say when they wake up, you're like, we win. And you're like, what did you win? Ugh.
Okay, you said you never forget. How do you think David feels? But
David
was my
Phils?
roommate. David feels.
No, you said Phils.
I said Phils.
You Freudian slip.
I did.
Phil David.
Because I've been making fucking cannoli all day. And that's not an innuendo. I've literally been making cannoli all day. But
one cannoli?
No, dude, you don't know the process of cannoli. Sometimes you're like, I'll do something nice.
It's not like mousse. You say cannolis. You don't just say cannoli.
Well, I've been making the dough, cannoli dough all day. Because you had to go get ingredients, and you get a mixer, and then you had to get they make these it's a whole thing.
Why are you making cannolis all day?
Because I'm a man, and that's what Italian men do. We make cannoli.
No, no, they don't. They make the pizza pie. And they do the flip. And they smack at the wife. That's what Italian men do. Making a pie, slapping the wife.
2 out of 3 ain't bad, am I right?
It's not bad at all. Yes, it is a McLovin t-shirt.
But so the other important thing is the waking up.
I agree.
When you nailed it. The idea of him waking up. So pretend you're my roommate, right? You've bagged the 10 you've been trying for 3 weeks, right? You guys wake up together. You're gonna go get breakfast, and as you're leaving, I just pop up and go, "Hey, scored 3 points last night." And she goes, as you hear the door closing, you hear, "What's 3 points?" And now Dave's in a position, or you as my hypothetical roommate, where you have to explain to this hot chick what 3 points meant.
Okay, there's so much wrong in this hypothetical.
How?
First of all, when you start dating someone, I don't think you should call it bagging a 10. It's not a buck. You didn't shoot anything. You didn't bag anyone. You didn't get a prize. You didn't win. You're in a relationship with someone. Saying bagging them is awful. Second of all, you leaving and then right away telling your friends, "Hey, I fucked that thing you guys all talk about with me. I got points." And then third of all, that I would be there and have to now tell this person, like, as the gay roommate, say, "Oh, you don't know points, girl? You don't understand at all. There's a score system and everything." Because that's what would tell. A straight man wouldn't tell her about this crazy sport. And then her response wouldn't be, "Bag me," or "That's gross," or whatever. She would just go, "I'm only 3 points, but jerking off at a sleeping guy wins? Why aren't I a win? Why is it better with 9 friends to jerk off at a guy during a cancer dance?"
I see. I see where you got confused. So
I'm not confused. This
you're
isn't
very
a
confused.
thing. It's not confused. To be confused would mean at one point it had an opportunity to not be confusing. It would have to be clear at one point. We were talking about, just so everyone knows, our show the other day, I said I went to a basketball game and I saw that on the big screen, they were showing different basketball players. When I hit a 3, they had a video of them that did a pose. And I said, "Oh, if I was one of those guys, I was going to say I do this." But I said to you first, Bobby, what would you do? Because one guy was doing a finger sniff thing when I went and saw the game on the video. It was probably a gang gun, whatever, but it looked like finger sniff. And you're like, "Oh, speaking of finger sniff," and then this happened. That's what happened. So the only thing confusing was that your brain went to me jerking off with 9 men while doing the cancer dance, while doing that and saving chemotherapy some trouble so you can come on your friends.
Okay. Again, they were just all helping me come. We can cancer dance if we want to. We can leave our friends behind because they all died from chemotherapy and now I'm left behind. We can make a wish if we want to. We can sing in front of the Pope. And then we don't die. Make Ward makes a joke and we cry. And I forget how the rest of the song goes. Boom. Men at Hats, call me.
No, they won't, because at one point you forgot the words and just said a thing.
I bet you the men without hats have put up fucking miracle numbers.
Yeah. I don't think they were all inside. I think Bobby, are you talking about Bobby and his friends jerking off people? That wasn't during COVID times. That was during cancer times.
That was during the Penn State dance marathon, and we weren't all jerking off. They all jerked me off so I could put up miracle numbers.
The Jerry Sandusky Auditorium Dance Party.
The Bryce Jordan Center. And what do you think Bryce did to Jordan? He jerked off while Jordan was sleeping. That's why it's called
the Joe Paterno Cumbrella Festival.
That's why Joe Pa was so mad, because Sandusky scored all those points while Joe Pa was asleep.
Okay, I don't think it's okay to say that was point scoring in any way. I think you get negative points and you get put in the penalty box. The one thing Sandusky hated, box. He would never want to be there. He hated box.
Yeah.
He loved hole. He loved peeing. He hated box.
He was basically the Barry Bonds of the game. Because, sure, he has the most points of all time, but people go, the way you did that really destroyed the integrity of the game.
Yeah. That was it. The integrity of the game. He'll never make the Hall of Fame now. Yeah, the numbers are big, but he basically padded them.
Yeah, dude, that whole era, that whole pedophile era of the game, everybody, numbers under scrutiny.
Okay, if he is the Jerry Sandusky of the game, Bobby explained, which is the game where you jerk off or do weird sexual things while other people are unaware. If he is, Jerry Sandusky is the Barry Bonds We need a Mark McGuire and a Sammy Sosa, and then I guess a Brady Anderson. Like one is not really talked about as much, but like you have to be
Yeah.
like, okay, he had 1 year where he just hit 45, and then he never hit anything more than like 15 again.
Dude,
so like
this
we
is
need that.
This is the easiest game ever. You're Mark McGuire, that dude over at Michigan State.
The coach Nasser.
Nasser, I'll finger you and fix your pussy. He got
I hope
close,
that's a
but
clip.
everybody. I mean, is it a clip? It's on my fucking Hinge profile.
I want that to be a gynecologist thing on their card.
Yeah.
Dr. Bobby Tamburo, OBGYN. I'll finger you and fix your pussy.
I hope that's not a clip since there is a Dr. Bobby Tamburo.
Dr. Robert Tamburo, OBGYN. The N's for nice. I'm going to look at your pussy.
That's awesome. And then, dude.
Okay, so we got Terry Sandusky.
Yeah.
We've got Larry Nasser. By the way, it's all people that have access to athletes so far.
Okay. Who's the most obvious Sammy Sosa? He started black, ended up white.
But did his points? Yeah, but his points.
His
He didn't
points.
have a lot of. He didn't have a lot of points.
Yes, he did. He had the parents sleeping down the hall.
But I thought we were talking numbers. There's
That's
only
a good
like
point.
5 or 6 boys that are saying that Michael did anything.
Those are the ones that admit it.
He didn't do anything. All Michael did, and listen, I watched the documentary, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again. All Michael Jackson did do was what most people do in their spare time. They laid on their bed, they had a boy bend over on his full fours, and they stared lovingly and gazed into his butthole like a kaleidoscope. That's what he said happened, and that was it. I like that he said, and that was it. That's all. Oh boy, that's not. You can never say the words. That's all afterwards.
And here's the issue there. The boys were awake.
First of all, can you please clarify? Because this is the part where somebody just jumped in and they heard what I said, and then you said the problem is the boys were awake. I hate when you can talk or yell or react.
No. Just for the game of jerking off while your roommate's asleep. If the boy's awake, you don't score points.
Do women play this game?
Yes, but here's the thing.
Bean flick and go? What's bean flick and go? No one's playing bean flick and go.
They only do it though to let us know that they're hot. Right? If a woman told you, and that dude, I was so turned on by you, Pat, that I had to masturbate and make sure I didn't wake up my roommate. That's the only reason, is to make you more attracted to her.
Wait, that would attract me to them more? Like them going, I'm so attracted to you, I masturbate with my roommates in here. I'm like, why do you have a roommate? I'm 49.
Well, I mean, in the scenario, but also
I don't like the scenario. I don't like. I would never jerk off at anybody when they were sleeping. First of all, second of all, I would never let people know so I could get my my scorecard filled. Third of all, I would never let a woman know that I jerked off about her and she should be happy because she helped my game. There's a lot of things here that I would not be involved in. Call me prude, call me vanilla, you know what I mean? But I would never play
No,
the
I won't
game
call you either of those
where
things.
anyone.
I'll call you a loser because you're not scoring points.
I would rather be a loser, in the words of Beck. Loser
I hope they
baby,
clip
so
that.
why don't you jerk off at me? Yes, you know what? Scott, you have a point. You can flick the bean button, but don't flick the bean button at people while they're sleeping. Do it while they're awake. Do it with consent. The game should have consent. I think the game needs defense. Bobby, you're like the NBA now, and I was like the NBA back in the day. I like defense. I like someone be able to say, hey, don't jerk off. And I'm like, all right, good D. And then you're like, wait till they sleep. Then we can do it. You Cosby up the whole game.
No, they're not playing good defense.
That's what Cosby did. He has the most points. Bill Cosby. The most points.
He might be the Sammy Sosa, but he does not have the most points because he didn't always come to completion.
Of someone sleeping, and then do you want?
A lot of them woke up.
Yeah, and then he's like, win.
Oh, that's nuts. That's nuts. But real quick before we move on to that, Pat, you asked.
Well, no. We can't real quick move on. A Villanova
Terry. He's still
sent a
dwelling
letter
on it.
to my company asking me to dinner. Yeah, he wants to just talk to you about the priesthood and Kerry Kittles. Those are two things that are wonderful. Kerry Kittles was one of the best Big East players of all times. And or maybe he wants to talk to you old school. Maybe about Ed Pinckney. Maybe he wants to talk to you about that. Pinckney was a good power forward, but when he had the pros, wasn't really built to be a small forward, didn't have the size for it. Maybe he wants to talk to you about that and how that ties into God.
In my experience, if he works for Villanova, he probably thinks you can sell him cocaine.
Maybe. If
That's
it
what
was
a lot
that,
of
if it was the
Villanova
'80s, then it
players
was
think.
Terry Pinckney. It was Ed Pinckney.
That probably. But women, so they can score points,
We stopped.
but they aren't officially locked in until they're with a man. Because
I'm just happy no one's put any points in the comments so far.
the game's a metaphor for life, so nothing a woman does matters until she can do it for a man.
All right, so let's take the game to technology. Talk about technology before rooting or helping things, whatever.
That's how you play defense.
If people were gonna play the game while we're doing the show, I don't want them to.
They
So
should.
let's say they were. If they're going to play the game while we do the show, and that we talked before, the game can only happen in the comments during POS evenings. I don't think it's right in the morning, but I'm wrong for saying that as I say it because some people live in different time zones and it might not be morning for them. So maybe they can do it in the morning when we do the morning show.
Dude,
But
come on.
the
What about
game-
the song? The best part of waking up is watching POS and busting a nut.
That is not the song yet, but if you can work on one and you can get your boy Roy to maybe write us a song with his keyboard or something, we can have a great song.
It's all about
But-
the game and how you play it. All about control and if you can jerk it.
I chose that for the when I was doing it in the stories for that thing. But okay, so the game is what Bobby's was saying before. The game, I guess, is when someone is asleep, you're trying to do things. So I want to change this a little bit because I can't play that game because I won't do that.
You got kids.
What the fuck did you just say
You
to me?
can't play the game. You have kids. That's when the game ends, when you have kids.
Oh, I thought you were telling me.
No, God, no. That'd be so bad, dude.
I thought you were like, you have the perfect opportunity to play the game. I mean, Pat, you've got a field right there. You
It's 2 points every night just sitting there.
every night. You can fuck dunks. It's
No, Mr. Hansen. I wasn't here to fuck that kid. I just needed to score some points.
I needed 3. Oh, I had to quit. The harassing laughter from my Boston peers was too much from the game. Okay, so if you play the game, I think there has to be okay. So now somebody has to be in the room with you. Is that the first rule of the game?
Yes. So that's
Someone
how it
has to
starts
be in a
initially.
room and they have to be asleep.
They have to be asleep. Or, actually, they do not have to be asleep. They just can't catch you jerking off.
They have to be unaware.
Yeah. So, like, my roommate would be doing homework sometimes, and I'd be, just racking up
No,
points.
I don't know.
He's boosting his GPA. I'm boosting my scoring average.
So your roommate was doing homework
Yeah.
and you were masturbating
Mm-hmm.
while they had their back turned to you.
Yes. So I could win the game.
Okay,
And awake's worth 3 points.
let's stop the rest of the words for 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
Because if no one else knows the game is happening, is the game happening? It's really that, tree fall in the forest scenario. So if he turns around, if I was that person, I have my back turned to you right now, and then you're like, and I turn around and go, what are you doing? And you're like, I'm winning. I'm like, well, can you please not win? And you're like, oh, come on, man, it's a game. Turn back around. I need more. Now, do you lose points? If I turn around and I see you, do you lose?
Yeah,
Those
if you catch
points,
me,
or do
that's
you get-
-5.
Okay, so if you jerk off and I don't catch it, it's 3 points.
So are you
One-
awake or asleep?
I don't want to be anything. I want to be dead. What's dead? Is that 10?
You don't want to know how many points that's worth.
All right. I'm awake. I'm looking. I'm podcasting with you right now, and someone behind me is like, Now you don't see them, and I don't. I guess you could see them, but I can't. Right? If they're behind me going,
As long as they aren't caught. Now, if I alerted you, that would count as a stop for you. So they would lose the 3 points they could potentially get for doing it.
Oh, it's fun right now. If you don't like the conversation we're having and you still want to hear my voice, you could go to 95.9 The Fox on their website, and I'm on for another hour. Anyway,
LOL.
right now.
Let's get us on there and we can explain
I'm
the game
on till 7.
Let's explain the game on the Fox.
Yeah, I don't get enough time. The problem is I only get like 30-second things. I think about an hour ago I just gave away tickets to Kings Leon.
How many people listen to the Fox?
We get more. It's a very small radio station.
Leaving a lot of points on the table, working there every day and not scoring.
Okay, so I don't really understand the game. So it's a game just for yourself because I know you were kind of saying that you're not telling other people because I would think you're lying. If you called me and said, hey man, you know that game we're playing? I'm like, I guess, I think I agreed to this at a bar last night and I'm sorry I did. You're like, no, the game, get your scorebook out. I got 4 points last night and 2 today at the library or something. And I'm like, hey man, stop calling me. Like, I might believe you. I might not, but I don't understand the game. I don't understand why you would play the game. I don't understand. I think you're just a freak and you just want to jerk off when people aren't paying attention. You just want to be, I think you want to be caught. I think that's the whole mindset, right?
No, you don't
I know you're saying,
want to be
you're
caught.
saying, I know what you're saying.
Bad.
No, you're saying the points, you're telling yourself points so you're not a creep. But in reality, if the cops come in, you can't be like, oh no, officer, it's the game. I've got 27 points. They're not going to go, oh, my bad. Didn't realize you were in the league. Then let it go. They're not going to say anything like that.
The cop's going to
go,
go,
you're
oh
jerking
shit.
off at people.
Oh shit, you're Big Dick Bob? You're BDB? Damn, dude, how do you put up 27 points in a day? They would recognize.
No, they're BDB, butt dumpling Bob, because you take these little dumps that are all small and they're like that little grumpy.
I did just take a shit like that earlier.
But
no,
the butt dumpling. Yes, it is.
It's so. Let's start with your basic premise. You don't understand the game. We talked about evolution here, right? That's how we started this episode, talking about evolution. That's how we
First
got
of all,
on
real
this
quick,
topic.
what are we getting over?
Get it over with is what he's saying. He wants one of us to jerk off. He doesn't see where my right hand is right now scoring points.
Semen terror. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Thank you, Scott. Semen terrorism. You're Osama Jerkladen.
No, we talked about evolution, right? What's the whole point of evolution? The thing that's most genetically fit, the one that can spread the most genetic material, moves on. This is just a constant game to remind you of your biological clock, right? Women get that thing where they're like, and Shane talked about it in his monologue, where he's like, I gotta have a baby, this is you being like, oh yeah, I gotta be the one who reproduces, not him. It's just kind of, everybody's always playing the game. You and I are at the bar, we see a hot chick, we're both talking to her. We're playing the fucking game. This is just practice. You're used to the game, but I'm talking about practice.
I know the Iverson thing you're doing. I know all the. I knew the Shane Gillis
the game
reference.
I love to play.
So wait, if you and I are at a bar.
So let's say two random dudes are at a bar and there's a hot chick and we're both trying to get.
No, let's say it's you and I, because then I would not even be involved. I don't even use the term hot chick. You would say to me, "Oh, is she attractive?" And I would go, I mean, I guess. And then you would go, "Let's jerk off behind her?"
No, then we're both trying to compete to see which one of us can get our load off without the other guy noticing. Because the minute I notice you as a stranger, I'm trying to shut it down.
In a bar?
No, you're trying to fuck the chick is the point.
I'm not.
Okay, but that's why you don't play the game.
Because there's no game, Bobby. Because I am the real world. There's no Matrix. There's no game. You are a creep. Game. Like you were walking around at a bar now trying to jerk off at this woman.
You're not trying to jerk off at the woman at the bar. My point is, like, sports are a metaphor for life. This game is a metaphor for life. In life, your goal is to fuck the chick without the other dude realizing you're trying to fuck the chick and prevent him from fucking the chick without you realizing he's fucking the chick.
Wait, what? So you think all dating is like it's a prize and just men are battling for a thing?
Not overall when you put societal norms on it, but when you break it down to just literally evolution, the raw goal of to spread your genetic material, yes, that is what is going on.
First of all, never
you
want to
be the one who increases genetic diversity biodiversity by spreading your genetic material with as many random partners to create as much variation within the species as possible.
Gross.
That is a biological perspective. So what I've done is
no, it's not.
So what has occurred over time, not just me, lots of people have taken that concept of trying to fuck as much as possible without letting other guys fuck what you're doing and turned it into the game. It's just kind of a way to keep your skills sharp.
It's not.
And if you don't understand that, yeah.
What did you call it? A biological what?
A biological clock?
No, you said biological. Maybe it was discussion or biological something.
Increasing biodiversity by spreading your genetic material as much as possible.
Not biological. It's bobological. That's the logic of Bobby. That's what all this is. Bobological is now what this all is. It makes sense now. In your mind.
Bobby, fuck Charles Darwin.
Yeah, it really is. No, because Charles Darwin was not talking about everybody competing for puss.
Why do you think he wrote his book, Pat? His roommate woke up and went, "What the fuck are you doing, Charles?" And he had to explain evolution to explain the jerk-off game. Yes, Charles Darwin was essentially the Pistol Pete of this game.
A guy barely anyone talks about.
Yeah, but he also changed the game because he reinvented it because he had to come up with it on the spot.
So Charles Darwin, when he was a kid, used to go on Johnny Carson and spin a ball on his fingers and go, "Look at this."
He also chronically masturbated. He spun some balls on his finger. No. If you saw the hot girl, you were trying to put your penis inside of her and have a kid. As a way to keep that instinct sharp, you should be trying to beat off while your buddy's sleeping.
Way. Yes, Terry and I are seeing the same way. That's basically what you're saying. If you see someone attractive, you jerk off on your friend.
No, but seeing someone attractive, it's like you know when the guys at the boop 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 that type of racing sit there and do the thing with their fingers.
I want you to explain more sports like that.
Yeah, the boop 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 boop.
Oh, I knew exactly what you meant.
Yeah.
You know,
is that
that kind.
car racing? Sprint check? Yeah.
I think that's Super Mario Kart.
But yeah. But they sit there with the practice things. You can't actually just race in your car all day. That would burn. But they sit there and it's like when the light changes, they react. So that's essentially what the game is. When you see the hot chick, you want to be you can't be just fucking hot chicks all day, but you can be staying sharp by jerking off while your roommate's sleeping. Yeah, exactly. The Amish inbreed, and it leads to a lot of genetic diseases. Most of them can't eat PKU.
So you're playing the game to stay sharp?
Yeah.
What are you doing when you're alone with a woman? Are you hiding and jerking off, going, don't see me? Like, is that? I'm not sure what's going on.
You're saying I've got a woman in my room for the first time. Have we made love yet?
I'm saying this.
The question you're asking. You said
no, I'm just saying in general. If you're ever alone with a woman, is she always in fear of turning her back and just having you beat off for points?
No, she would be in fear of me having sex with her, which is
Why
the
is
goal.
she in fear?
Not in fear, but she should have her to be like, that's this guy's goal. If we're hanging out one-on-one, we're alone together, this dude wants to have sex with me. That's the game.
One-on-one, I'm gonna jerk off behind your back. One-on-one with you.
And you know what she would probably do in that moment to really make me want her?
Be a man.
She'd be like, I'm a lesbian.
Oh. Why? No, I don't know what's going on.
Okay. I don't know how I can make this much clearer, dude.
No,
it seems like it's a pretty simple thing.
It got worse. I don't understand the game. Like, if it's a game, there's got to be rules. There's got to be a league. There's got to be things going on. There's all these things.
Yeah, there are. Like, which part of that? So anyway, I'm with a woman. I've just completed my goal, which is obviously to have sex with her, to spread my genetic material, right? You're asking what happens next?
First of all, back up. You're with a woman, and then you start thinking scientifically?
No, dude, we're talking subconscious. It's in us as as like just an animalistic instinct.
You're a subconscious. Like Be a dom conscious. Don't be a subconscious.
It's that kind
I
of
don't-
thinking that shows your lack of game playing. I'll be a
Yeah.
dom, I'll be a sub, whatever the moment requires for me to spread my genetic material.
I think if anyone could take anything away from this horrific podcast that we had a bunch of pod watchers and it dropped down to one because they're like, what the fuck?
Well, I
I
mean,
think-
my bad, dude.
No. It's not your fault. I
We lost the game. Maybe they all lost the game.
If one thing you can take away from this is that, yeah, I don't understand or want to play this game. I don't want anything to do with this game. So no one's worried about that. I'm just worried that people are going to watch this and then think you're right. That this is just you just gave a lot of creeps an excuse. I know we're doing this comedically, but you just gave I think most of our viewers are maybe not pedophiles, but definitely have been told to stay away from places or have to register sometimes. And you've just given them this weird new system where the Bobby clearly stated on the podcast that when I jerk off behind someone's back, it's for a game, officer.
Not seeing a flaw with your logic so far. Where does the problem arise?
Don't stop it.
No, you're forgetting the private part. You have to do it in your room. Unless there are some charitable cause exceptions, which is how I was able to get away with the 9 other dudes helping me at Penn State's dance mini-thon.
So all 10 people, all 10 men,
Nope.
were all aware of said game.
Oh, of the game. Yeah.
All together. That's where I don't get. You were all in a room together, so you should have all, hypothetically, or game rules, if I'm understanding the rules, yes, you each got a point for the jerk off. But you all should have lost 5 points because you all saw each other jerk off, and you all count as people. So therefore, it should have been one of the most negative numbers of all times.
Okay,
It
you're
should
right.
have been 50 points down, and then
This
you
is-
get the 10 points there. So it should have been minus 40. It should be your score. If you've taught me the game now I know the game. And I'm the offensive coordinator. I'm like, this is a terrible strategy. We've just lost 40 points.
And to be honest, this is on me. Because I shouldn't have led with like such a unique situation when I explained the game to you. I just assumed you were aware of the game and all of its sub rules. But you're right.
No one's
normally,
aware of the game. This is not a
everybody's
game. This is assault.
Everybody's aware of the game. Say if you're aware of the game, explain it to Pat in the comments below. But
No.
so normally
Don't.
your roommate cannot be aware you're jerking off, right?
I don't
your
like that
roommate-
beginning sentence.
So the rule is you score
I'm
points as
out
long
then.
as
Though.
you.
Just so you know, I'm out then. The second someone can't be aware of a sexual act, I'm out.
Okay. That's fair. But for those of us who are men and play the
I
game.
don't even like to sleep with drunk people because they don't really know what's going on.
So, but the point is, you nut without your roommate knowing, right? So if
no,
you were to
that's
have,
not the point.
how is that not the point? That's the point of the game.
The-
Ejaculate
No.
without people knowing. Yes, and
That
to be
can't be
honest,
the point
Carl,
to
this is
anything.
a
That
great
can't be the point in
representation
life.
of what we do. I'm glad this is your first time. Thanks for calling in. But this is a great representation of everything we are as a podcast.
For everyone else who's like, what the fuck's going on? Please tune in tomorrow morning with our guest Matthew
yeah.
James. It's gonna be we have a lot of fun topics and conversation. The morning show is where we really stay on topic with the POS thing. The evenings when we let things fly and are loose. That's all I'm saying.
So the whole goal, ejaculate, release of semen from your penis without the person who is your roommate knowing. Right? So as long as that happens, the easiest way is for him to be asleep, right? Or not in the room. But that doesn't count because no one's in the room then. So asleep, you get 1 point without him knowing. Now, if you get caught cheating and saying you did something, then you do have to provide proof. And you don't want to be one of those guys who has to take a picture of your nut every time you nutted. That's bad.
Who are those guys? They have that in their phone?
I'm guessing. No, I mean
Jeez.
you would delete it after you take it to the league official.
A play with your selfie?
That's pretty good. I hope that's the title of this show.
By
But
the way,
anyway,
real quick, to address this real quick, and thank you, Carl, for all the tips. I was actually supposed to be on 2 weeks ago. Carl extended an invitation to me. I was gonna be on actually to talk about I think more other things. It was that weekend where Bob Levy and Brendan fought and all the things that happened in Atlantic City. I had a bad reaction to some allergy stuff, and I couldn't really speak, and I was coughing, and I didn't want to ruin the show. But Carl has extended me an offer to come on whenever I want. So I'll be reaching out very soon and be back on soon. I love being on there with Carl and those guys. It's great.
and
Yes, I bailed. That's how Carl put it. Yes, I didn't want to ruin the show by hacking and coughing like the person they make fun of, Stuttering John. I wanted to sound clear, not like oh yo 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 yo. I didn't want to do that to people.
you're bailing on the game. You're bailing on that show.
I'm bailing on the game.
So 1 point for sleep because it's the easiest. If he's awake, you get 3 without him noticing. Now, the whole thing is you nut. Now, obviously, jerking yourself off, that's easy. But if you get another person involved, you're also working with a multiplier there, too. So if you were to have a woman jerk you off while your roommate was in the room without him noticing, that'd be points. Let's
No, it's
say
not.
you're watching.
Bobby, it's not, though.
Yeah, it would.
I don't know why you're not understanding
it is.
this.
It is. I'm just explaining the game. You seem very confused. Let's say, for
No.
example, you're watching
Bobby,
a
stop.
Doctor Who marathon.
Okay,
And
no.
a girl who's
Get-
fucked
get-
several of the guys there jerks you off with her feet on the couch and nobody notices. That's a whole bunch of points.
Okay, but Bobby, you do lose points because she is seeing you be jerked off. And you
She's
said
not
no,
your
no,
roommate.
No.
She's not your roommate. That's why you don't live with women. Because if she was your roommate, then you don't get those points. But as long as you got a roommate that's not a woman, you could still get the points. You're playing against your roommate.
But Bobby, when you play a game and there are rules, you can't fuck with semantics and shit like that. A roommate can be any mate or person that is in a room with you in a certain amount of time. It doesn't have to be on a lease or anything like that. They can just be in the room. So if I'm in the room and you're in a room for more than an hour, we are technically mates, friends, and we are in a room. So this woman who's sitting there is now your roommate. All the men that are sitting there are now roommates. So therefore, you have also lost a lot of points.
No, she's not on the lease. She's not a legal roommate. And the way the foot job worked was all of those people lived in the same fraternity house, so we were all on one giant lease. It's about manipulating the rules within the game. Now, to just summarize it. So, because my technical room for that weekend became the Bryce Jordan Center, and my roommate was still asleep, those men all helped me as if they were a woman to win the game. That semester, that weekend put me so far ahead. Sure, did it lead to some rewritings of the rules? Yeah, so did Wilt dunking from the free throw line for free throws. They made that illegal. It happens when you're great.
They didn't make that illegal.
Yeah, they did. You can't run and jump past the free throw line to dunk. Like he used to
one
take
can
his
do that
free
anyway.
throws. Wilt used to take his free throws by taking 2 steps, hitting the free throw line, and jumping as far as he could, and basically laying it in because he was so tall.
I did not know that. I did not know there was any running and jumping. Foul
There's a
shot,
lot you don't-
You have to stay still.
There's a lot you don't know in life, Pat. You don't know that he used to dunk his free throws, and you don't know about the game.
You don't mess around with Jim. I fucked a female roommate once. It got weird. Was she on board? Because that's the problem with Bobby's game. No one's on board. I need people on board. I like people on board. I'm a fan of people on board. I don't like any game where someone doesn't know there's a game. And I'm going to keep doing this because it's not a fucking game. It's fucking creepy. Cancer dance.
It is a game. The roommate knows as soon as you wake up and go, I scored a point, and then you explain the game to him. I'm sorry you had terrible roommates.
I didn't know if you wanted to address the comment.
Bobby is the kind of guy who gets his dick sucked and doesn't call the guy the next day. Well, if it's a guy, no, because he was just helping me score points in the game. He'll call me when he needs help scoring those points, okay? I'm not going to just be the type of guy who gets blown and doesn't blow the dude back. I'm all about equality here, as long as it's for men and not women.
If there's no eye contact during the blowjob, do you get points?
You get more points if there is eye contact, because that makes it hard for you to come.
Eye contact?
Mm-hmm.
You have an issue with eye contact during sex?
No, I was just kidding.
Bobby, I don't know if there's been any kidding going on this episode. I
No,
think
not on
that
this
you-
episode. Everything on this episode has been 100% a fact. Okay, I don't fuck around about the goddamn game. And just because you don't know it and it makes you uncomfortable doesn't mean I'm gonna lie to make you okay.
I'm just spitting the truth.
Yeah, I'm just speaking what's in my heart.
The game.
On that note, buddy, I think we're gonna have to wrap this one up.
Oh yeah, because where can people? Is your show live tonight?
It's not live tonight, but the people know, I believe, coming up soon. We're continuing the Rome run on the History Homos podcast. I believe we're talking about what happened post Caesar funeral and maybe getting through the fall of the second triumvirate. I'm not sure yet, but it's always a good time. Those guys are doing big things over on Rockfin. Have fun, check it out. But even bigger than that, Derby, Connecticut, this Friday. Tell them, Pat.
Well, I wasn't gonna plug that, but okay. Because I don't care. But yeah, I'll be performing in Derby, Connecticut this Friday. That's you really said it. It's like the show's at 7:30, but you can show up at 8. That's fine. The more thing important is that tomorrow morning, POS mornings, 8 a.m. Jump on. I will be a bit tired because tonight I am going for a sleep study in a hospital. Yeah, I'm going to be going to a hospital at 9:30 at night, have things strapped to me, and I really hope I'll be able to sleep because now I'll be in fear that the doctors there and the nurses know the game. And now I'm going to be concerned that I have to keep my eyes open the whole time for do all this. I have to do all this stuff because of the stupid form for the DMV to start driving again. They're like, they have this form with 8,000 things on it. So all my doctors are like, do this, do this. I'm like, I don't have any of these things. So I'm literally just going to go sleep in a hospital for fucking morning, then get out of there at 6 a.m., come on the show here at 8 a.m., and then I have to go ahead into the radio station because I'm on the Fox all this week, 95.9 the Fox. You can go on there if you're not in Connecticut or in Fairfield County, more likely, because that's the only place you can hear it. You can go to 959thefox.com and stream it there, or go put up their app, and you can hear me from 2 to 7. And if you live in Connecticut, you can win tickets to see Kings of Leon possibly at 4 o'clock. If not, you can just hear a bunch of 2090s alternative music and the new Pearl Jam song. We keep playing that nonstop. That just came out from their album. But
I like that you're
yeah.
giving Kings of Leon tickets away because Jeff, the manager of the Yonkers Comedy Club the other day, was like, what's that band that dropped that one album everybody loved? They were worldwide and then never heard it. You know, it was like, and I said Kings of Leon right away. And he was like, man, you really are white. Get out of my face, Bobby.
You don't know the sex is on fire. That's called gonorrhea.
And the game.
Now, first of all, Terry, I'll leave you on Terry. It's not. There's nothing simple about this game. There's so much minutia. There's so many intricate things that I guess it's like when someone tries to explain cricket to me.
I was about to say it's like cricket. If you don't play your whole life, there's so many rules.
But then again, baseball, if you were from a different country and didn't know baseball, there's a lot of rules there. But I get it and I understand it. But with baseball and cricket, everybody can watch the game. There's nothing in baseball and cricket where someone's not looking.
It's also like cricket because Indians are the best at it.
Flame emoji, Vagine, Bobs. That's what they do there. Bobby, what do you got? Promote?
I did tell him about History Homos. I am at the Allenville Theater at some point. I'm at a bunch of head over. I'll tweet them all out. I've got a bunch of dates coming up in the area. I am going to be in Toronto the 13th through the 15th. So if you're in one of our Canadian listeners, let me know. Smokey. I'm pretty sure she's the only one from Canada. But on that note, that's what I got. And
nice.
if you
and
can,
I guess one more thing, I'll be announcing it on social media and stuff kind of soon once the links are up and everything. But I'll be recording my 4th album at Comics Roadhouse at Mohegan Sun in August. I'll be doing a whole weekend there and recording my 4th upcoming album there. So once that's out there and you're in Connecticut or anywhere in New England where you can come out and stay at the casino and hang out and stuff, come be part of that experience. That'd be awesome. So you check that out. Join us tomorrow morning. We have Matthew James from Radio 104. If you watched some of the shows that we did on Compound with me and Bobby and the Conspiracy Nuts and even our POS thing, Matthew was a guy who was our guest on there as well. Very funny guy. He's going to join us tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. some of the things we're going to talk about. The topic that I have come up with is Shane Gillis a savior? And it's not just Saturday Night Live. I have many things there where Shane Gillis might be comedy's equivalent to Jesus Christ. He might come back to resurrect a lot of things. And he's dealt with a lot of the same parallels that went there. Yeah, I'm going that route. That's there. Also, I want to talk more about Avatar: The Last Airbender. We covered a little too much today, but not as much as we covered the game. And what we won't be talking about tomorrow morning is the game. But if you are scoring points during the morning show, you have to just write the points that you get in there. If you are the first one to comment, you got points. You get 5 points. So if you did jerk off with no one knowing, you get 5 points. You write 5 points. And you see that there? Someone else writes 4 points, and we'll tally your scores at the end of that. 8 a.m. Eastern, Wednesday, and then Friday we have Philip Anthony. Now Friday we may be somewhere else. We'll let you know. We may not be through YouTube watching it there. We may be on Instagram. We will let you know tomorrow morning
both.
if that's a change.
Yeah, we'll figure it all out.
But tomorrow
And,
on YouTube.
The reason why you should watch in the morning is it's a lot easier to score points if you're at work. On that note, if you can't join them, beat them, and don't be a piece of shit.
Don't play that game like ever.
Play the
Don't
game to win.